Okay, for today's project, I'm going to start with a piece of designer series paper from Stampin' Up that is 7.5 by 7.5. And you can see it's, double-sided paper. And I'm going to score at the 2.5 and again at the 5. And I'm going to flip the paper and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to score at 2.5 and again at 5. Okay, and I don't know if you can see those score lines or not that are on there. Maybe on this side you can. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut on the middle section right on the score line. And I'm going to cut at this box up to the next score line. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so what you'll have is something that looks like this with all the sides cut like that. And then I'm going to fold on my score lines on both sides. And you can do this before you cut if you want. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you fold to get your score lines in there. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring these in on an angle and try and get them as even as possible. Okay, so once you're pretty sure of where you want your paper to be, the next step would be is to come in and take your hole punch, and you're going to punch through all 3 layers of the paper, and if I got it right, punch a hole into there, just so you know where it's going to be. And then I'm going to take a brad, which is from the new Brad Sending Love that are out in the new Mini Occasions catalog. And I'm going to, you can just put the brad in itself, or if you want to dress it up a little bit. I'm going to dress mine up a little bit here. And I'm going to put a flower on with it. And I'm going to line back up my holes and then punch my brad through the center there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the next side. Again, line up my paper where I want it to be, punch my hole, and then attach my brad. Okay. And again, if you have problems getting your brads through, you can take the piece of paper and go one at a time. That's another easy way to get it done. Now, you could put a flower on both sides if you want. This is the back of my box, so I've chose not to. But there you can see the front and how pretty that looks. Okay, so I'm going to use the new border scallop punch. And I love these, just love how the design of all of these are. And when I do my punches, I pretty much just start at the end where I can see it and punch, and then line it up with your previous hole and punch. And I'll go all the way down the paper, and I hope you can see this, lining up my last hole and punching. Okay, so I have my handle all punched, and I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to punch a hole. I'm probably going to go in about the second hole on each side, or the second scallop of each side. And I'm going to open up my brad, and I'm going to take my handle and I'm going to insert it through the hole. And you may want to do this before you spread out your brad for the first time, because it might be a little bit difficult, like I'm having some trouble now since I spread those 2 pieces apart to get those back together tight enough to get around. But if you're careful, like I was there, I'm able to get it in. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to flip it. And again, try and push this together. And then I'm going to fold this over and poke it through my hole. And close it. Okay. And this here's my finished project, and as you can see, I attached the little flower with the brad in the front of my box, just to kind of give it a little more character. And the handle, of course, you can make any size you want if you want it taller or shorter. So give this a try. It's really cute, simple, and easy. Thanks a lot.